When I think about the way we used to be, when I think about the things you took from me, I know that I am so much.
Wait for the ramp, Morty.
When I look at what I've done, now that we're apart, when I look at what I've won, I've come so far. I know I'm so much better off, and baby, you don't belong.
So right now we're trying to figure out how to get this 300-pound object safely onto the table.
We can do it.
Forklift?
Forklift.
Go a bit higher. Back. Well, okay, you're good so far. Something back, yeah. Good. Up. That table, looks pretty level. I have their phone.
Stop wobbling it. Yeah, but it's that level. Nice. Easy. Thankfully, we have our fully trained and certified forklift operator.
Part of that is right.
Two of the four things I just said are correct. So, Eric used to zip around in forklifts all the time doing boats at one of his old jobs.
Okay, that's good.
Kid, you my badass, like.
Nice. And this is my first time thinking I should buy sunscreen this whole summer.
So we just took delivery of our FL15 Engis lapping machine. This is a 15-inch model with 3 separate compartments, 3 different lapping areas. And this unit weighs about 300 pounds, has pneumatic cylinders to help apply downforce onto the parts. Should be freaking amazing. Super duper excited. This is a diamond lapping machine, which is a lot different. It's like a whole different world than conventional lapping, like aluminum oxide abrasive. Diamond is sounds like the hot ticket for exactly what we want. We want flat parts, we want shiny parts, we want scratch-free parts, we want the control of being able to do it in-house. This is going to provide a lot of value for us and for our knives.
Getting the lapping machine all set up. We're supposed to have a guy come in to help us get training and bring like the lapping compound and all that. But yeah, we're just kind of doing as much as we can until the guy gets here. But super excited.
Also, you can look at doing slightly different configurations within each carrier as well to see if you can get different results.
Just to clarify, what he's talking about is before we even committed to buying the machine at all, they offered to take a bunch of our parts and do some testing on the lapping machines to see if they could get the results that we were looking for, because we weren't getting them before. We used to get our lapped parts back like this, which they obviously tried to lap and then they blast it with something after the fact, and it just takes hours and hours to tumble out. But what we had them send us back the first time was a finish like that, and it looked scratchy, but it tumbled out in way less time while still being a flat mirror. So that got us to say, yeah, we want it. And now they're still consistently working with us to try to figure out what plate to use, what micron slurry to use, and just everything. And they even were nice enough to give us a loaner machine, so we don't have to wait the 14 weeks or whatever it was to, for our new machine to come. And then now he's here trying to just teach us everything.
Todd Conde from Engis in Canada.
Todd, nice to meet you.
Nice to see you.
Thanks for coming. So what do we got?
We have our 15-inch flat lapping machine, which is our smallest model machine, but gives us a good chance to help come up with a complete process for you, for your parts. So the lapping machine composed of a lap plate that's a HY copper composite lap plate. Also running on here we have our conditioning rings, which you physically run the parts in, and usually your lap plate turns at only about 60 to 90 RPM.
Okay, so just like once a second, basically.
Exactly. So nice and slow. We'll be able to attach the parts just with a double-sided tape onto a soft rubber pad, and then once we get set, we can drop down our pressure points to be able to get about 3 to 5 pounds per square inch.
So you don't need a lot.
Not a lot. And actually, diamond abrasive uses a little bit more pressure than a conventional aluminum oxide would, because it's so much harder and it's so much more durable.
Why did we go with the diamond instead of just the aluminum oxide?
Well, first of all, you can see the diamond you're running in pint bottles, so even this amount should run you probably 8 to 10 hours of cycle time. Whereas if you run conventional abrasive, you would be pumping tens of gallons through the system, because it's a constant.
It's like a flood.
Yeah, constant flood coolant and flood lubricant situation. So you have a lot more mass, and also a machine that has to have a pump to it and so on to be able to put those amounts of fluid through. So the main difference and why you have to do that with conventional is conventional abrasive will just sit on top of this plate and it'll actually roll between the part and the lap plate. Whereas with diamond, it actually embeds into the lap plate. So this way you use a lot less fluid, and you make better use out of each abrasive grain. And that makes a much more consistent lap surface for you, and also minimizes the cycle time as well.
So that's everything we want.
Yeah, exactly. Once it's embedded, you just need to keep the plate wet so that it's like lubricated and cooled, I guess?
That's right. So the first thing you want to do before you start running parts is, even for a minute or two, just turn your sprayer on, just so you can get your lap plate moist, and just run the conditioning rings on its own.
Right.
And that's the process of where it's actually what we term charging the plate.
Gotcha.
And letting the diamond embed into the surface. And then those diamonds will stay in the surface until you run your electroplated conditioning ring.
Okay.
So once you start to see your cut rate go down a little bit, or uneven, that's when you want to run your electroplated diamond ring to be able to condition this plate back to flat, and also clean the surface off.
Well, ideally, we'd have one for each station, right?
Yes. Ideally, you'll be able to set up 3 conditioning rings per cycle, and your hope is to be able to do three parts per ring out of load. And so far we found that it's probably about 30 to 45 minutes to get that surface nice and flat and into the surface finish that you're starting to look for. Not the most complicated process, but it's definitely an art to it. Yeah. So it's really good that we've got you with kind of a loaner machine so that when your machine is complete, you'll have a turnkey operation when it gets dropped off.
And our new machine is going to have a bit more of a complicated control. And
exactly. This is just set up just with dials and a simple timer, whereas yours is going to have a touch screen display to it.
So it's good to start with the analog first.
That's for sure.
And get the basics down.
That's for sure. And then anything like when you've got your auto stir and your minimizer plugged into the machine, they'll auto stop when you auto stop the machine as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Great to see you again.
Thanks.
And the continued work that we'll be doing together is going to be great.
Awesome. I agree.